weiß Bescheid. Entiendo.
Welcome to the most forward-thinking, inspirational podcast on the planet. Prepare to reevaluate everything you've been taught.
They can tell us we're crazy, and we can say, well, you haven't seen anything yet. Everything you knew was a goddamn lie. Would you up and explode like it's the 4th of July? Possessed by perfection in this land, if you're awake, you're the enemy. Where they lead, you will follow. Well, I guess that's just the way it goes. And if you look away, you'll be doing what they say. And if you look alive, you'll be singled out and tried. Every day a new deception, pick the scene and take direction, and on a search to connect, but I don't wear a mask and I have no regret. Down on your knees, you don't look so tall. Open your eyes and the empire falls.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Here we are once again with the How Hardcore of a Truther Are You series, episode number 4. Today, we're going to be covering airport x-rays, ultrasounds, sunblock shampoos, Hollywood, and their films. And the big one, was 9/11 an inside job? Quite the doozy today, ladies and gentlemen. I look at these again. I mean, I love recording this. This is a fun tier for me to be on. I was listening to the last podcast. I listened back to it. I'm like, Jesus, I don't even sound like I'm that animated. I wonder if it's the microphone or if it's the room. I mean, it's pretty sound dampening here, but I am putting my enthusiastic flair into it. So I don't know. Maybe it's just the gear. Again, using my travel gear for this as opposed to my at-home studio. Either way, these are just my sort of things that I kind of notice when I do these things. Like, I need, in my opinion, I need my sound to be perfect. But you'll never get there. I mean, one of my favorite sayings is, what is it? Oh, geez. Sure, it's one of my favorites, but I can't remember it as soon as I need it, eh? That's the Canadian in me coming out. To everyone that says we talk with an accent. We don't think so. Oh yeah, my favorite saying. Perfection gets in the way of doing a really good job. Or the attempt at perfection. Man, you can have so much fun and come so close and then do better next time. Like, it's so beautiful. When you get wrapped up in that whole, I need to do it perfectly right the first time, you screw up a lot and you miss out on opportunities. It's just a bloody mess. Without further ado, let's get into this one. Number 16. Airport X-ray scanners are carcinogenic. And this is one of those, I've not really looked into any of this. So on that particular, on this topic, I've looked into all of these. But this particular topic is one of those that I'm like, I don't know. Because I've not looked into it. And a carcinogen, as far as I understand it, is a cancer-causing agent. Now, if somebody were to get an x-ray, the doc is like, he's like, you're fine. Just put this piece of lead here and that piece of lead there. And I'm going to go stand over here behind this giant-ass lead wall. I could only assume, for the most part, well, it can't be good for you. And that would be, somebody who's constantly going through scanners. I mean, that doesn't really sound like much of a conspiracy theory to me. It sounds kind of logical. It's an x-ray. We've all had them. And we've all had the lead. I don't know why that's on the list. I would assume that if you live inside the x-ray thing, you're in trouble. The TSA guys, they've got that thing now where you sort of stand in the room and you don't, like, it goes around you type of deal, whatever. I don't even know what it is, but you're not interfering with the agents. In other words, the agents aren't constantly being subjected to it. There was probably something that went into that at some point with those agents, which is where this came from. And like, well, you can't, that can't be right. Oh, sure. But hey, here we are. So that's kind of my take on it. Not a very interesting topic to me. As a conspiracy, it's more of it's a logical conclusion that too much x-ray can't be good for you. Ultrasounds are harmful to the baby. Prior to reading this, I'd actually never even heard that. Does it make sense? Can we tie that in? What is an ultrasound? Radio wave or wave frequencies, I believe. And ultrasounds or ultrasonic sound has been known to break up tumors, break up blood clots. There's something called sound therapy, where if you've got like a gallstone or a kidney stone, and depending on the size of it, if you hit that stone with a certain frequency, a certain sound wave, it will shatter the stone inside and allow you to pass it easier. And I'm no doctor here, and I've not done any work into the ultrasounds. I've never even considered it. I've never had to. I've never considered it. But I would assume that if an ultrasound can destroy a kidney, a gallstone or a kidney stone, that the ultrasound that you're looking to image the baby, I would assume it's a different frequency, sonar-ish, ultrasonic. I don't even know. This is where the comment section lights up. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Man, I'm just reading off a list and sort of tying two and two together as best I can in that sense. I'm sure it's not the same frequency signature that's destroying kidney stones that they're using on your uterus to see inside at the baby. But I would assume if you lived at the hospital and had an ultrasound every day, that maybe you're causing damage to the baby. Maybe. It makes sense. It's something that would certainly need a lot more research into it. And this is it's a weird thing. It's like you'd think, well, if it's causing damage, why would they keep doing it? But honestly, everything that we've discussed in this list so far, and we're by the end of this episode, we'll be halfway through the list. Everything that we're discussing is trying to kill us. So maybe they do know. Maybe this agenda is even deeper than we thought. Oh God, the rabbit hole goes deeper. I don't know. I'm sure, I if you have any information on that, send us an email, info@thementalmasteryalliance. I'm very curious to know where that stems, or if there's any case study on that, or if there's anything that would show that kids were getting hurt. Or feti, would that be the plural of fetuses? Feti? The feti were getting hurt? I don't know. Just trying to have a little fun here, ladies and gentlemen. This one's interesting too. Sunblock, many shampoos, and various lotions are loaded with toxins. Now, I know a lot of people that have skin cancer. I know way too many people that have skin cancers or melanomas. I know a lot of them were smokers too. But I have this strange thought. Skin cancer is certainly on the up and up. Certainly over the past few years. But industrialized skin lotions are also way up now. So this is a personal one. This isn't one of those things that it's like, oh, well, we need to get into a huge debate over this. It's one of those things where if you believe it, act accordingly. I believe that we're in this environment wherever we are, and that all the things that they tell us, like if you look at the COVID narrative again, all the things that they said, stay away from people, stay inside, stay out of the sunlight, all of these things, rebreathe your own air under your mask. All of these things were really detrimental to our health, staying out of the sunlight and all that sort of stuff. And they push this, they push this agenda on the television just to see what we would do. Sort of a side note, but do you guys remember when they chained up playgrounds so kids couldn't play? They put chains, they tied the swings together. Oh my God. We live in some bizarro ass world right now, I'll tell you that much. But then you've got the people who are like, hey, you want to kill grandma? Well, you got to tie those swings together and be prepared for it to come back around with climate change lockdowns. Oh, it's a bit much. It's a bit much. Sunblock. I agree with this. I agree with quote unquote male pattern baldness is going up. Shampoos are peculiar, clogging our pores. There's said to be lots of power in your hair. There's certain religions that keep their hair as long as possible, never cut it, because the longer your hair is, the more in tune you are with certain frequencies. I would believe that. I lost my hair at a very young age. Who knows? Baseball caps and that sort of stuff. There's another conspiracy here that's not even mentioned in this, is the baseball caps. You know, there's that red pin on top of the baseball cap. You know, when you were a kid, you used to smack it and yell "Smarty," and your friends would be like, "Ha, you jerk, that hurt my head." There really isn't any need for that metal pin to be on top of the hat. Structural design, some will say, but others say it's an ether gatherer, you know, and it's pointed on top of your head, and it's you know, hats are clogging circulation to your hair, which is very vital. There's a lot of stuff that can be tied into that. Is there a lot of proofs that can be given? Honestly, no. That's why I think these are called conspiracies, because you can kind of do your own thinking. And you can do your own speculating, and you can do your own information analysis / withdrawal / amalgamation, you know. But I personally don't use sunscreen. I don't use sunscreen. I don't typically like to put anything on my skin. I'm even hesitant of hot showers from the city, simply because, you know, you hyper heat up fluoridated water and chlorinated water, and you're accepting that directly into your pores, which is not the best thing in my opinion either. So I've even cut back on ultra hot showers. It's a strange thing, I know. Is it doing anything for me? I don't think so, you know, right out the gate. But at the same time, we're given options in this life, scenarios, things to see, do, feel, follow. And this is how we create our reality. So whether I'm right or wrong, it's inside my reality to be this way. And this is what makes me tick. And so if you do something different from me, well, great, because that's how we learn to do other things as well. But when you're 100% set in your ways and you believe that your way is the only way, you've limited yourself from a million other possibilities or things out there. And me personally, I'm not really into that. Limitations are a little bit too much for me. So for this one, there's no advice. I'm not, you can't give advice on this. I can just say, I personally see the correlation between sunblock and lotions and everything, all of those products going through the roof, and the massive rise in skin cancers and melanomas. I don't trust it. The sun's been around for, God, longer than we can remember. And cancer hasn't. So, well, I don't know what that tells you, but I think a lot of it's fabricated. And that's, again, me. That's not medical advice. We're not here trying to make sure you don't do medical things. We're just here to ask questions and sort of like point the light at things, I guess. I don't know, really. Where are we here? Hollywood films, number 19. Number 19. Hollywood films have a direct agenda. Now, that's a blanket statement, and I absolutely detest blanket statements. Actually, I don't detest them. That's kind of a harsh term. Like, I don't give them much credit. I like the idea that all is one, but truth be told, they're not. I mean, you've got various genres, subgenres, people, amalgamations. There are people that put together projects that pick up steam that aren't, mainstream. So no, not all of Hollywood is bad. But I'll tell you, 99% of it is. And here's how you can tell. Here's how. When you're watching your Hollywood movies, keep your eyes open for the Masonic floor. Now think about this in your entire life. As you exist in this reality, roaming around, free-range human beings, how many times have you seen a black and white checkered floor? Not overly that often. So why then does that floor make it into 99% of Hollywood movies? A black and white checkered floor. Because those are the Hollywood movies that have direct agendas. And that's their Masonic symbology, thrown right in. There's tons of other stuff. But just for the one thing that you're looking at and the one aspect that I can put into these 20-minute episodes, just take a look in all of your movies. Whenever you're watching the movies from now on, the black and white checkered floor. When you see that in a Hollywood movie, you know it's a Masonic agenda-based movie driving forward a narrative. We used to think that life imitates art, or art imitates life, that sort of thing. So we'd watch television and we'd think, I can relate to these characters because they're very much like me. This is for me. This is relatable. But we think that they're kind of copying what life is, as opposed to dictating to us what life is. Think about this. Why are all teenagers moody? People are like, oh, it's hormonal. But why are they dicks to each other? Right? Why are teenage girls terrible to each other? What this competition? Because if you look at all the things that we watch, there's this ingrained drama because they believe drama sells whatever. There's this ingrained drama in absolutely everything where everybody's in competition with everybody and fighting everybody else for whatever else. So you see this stuff and you see these personalities and you see these people think that they have to act a certain way. And then you start realizing that the television, this box that you've put inside your house, which is controlled by a grand total of 6 people at the very top of it all, that they're not pushing a narrative or an agenda? Of course they are. Of course, the whole thing. We live in a state of fear or anxiety or depression because everything on the news, everything everywhere, everything that comes out of that box is designed to make you act and feel a certain way, which is the weirdest thing. Why would that be that? Why is that the way? But, the symbology through Hollywood is absolutely everywhere. Hollywood's dying, though. We're looking at the whole shift really started taking place when they did the Me Too and they started kicking everybody out of everywhere. The strangest people got Me Too'd, and it was all encompassing. What started off, and you see this, what started off as a movement turned into total chaos. But this was a culling. This was what had to happen to clear out old Hollywood because new Hollywood was going to be making changes and old Hollywood wasn't willing to give up. Those who are willing to go along with whatever the new agenda is, they're fine. They're fine. But anyone that wasn't willing to go along with the new plan, it looks like their name got bastardized, either sexual assaults or tax evasions or domestic violence, all of these peculiar things. And that's not to say that these things didn't happen. I'm sure they did, to a degree. But just when you see some of these people just disappear and it's a finger was pointed, just a simple finger was pointed. No, nothing was backed up. People just got fired. You got to question some stuff. So yeah, Hollywood's a giant cesspool of cesspoolery. And if you're a longtime listener of this show, you're probably aware of that. Am I calling out any one individual? No. I have friends in Hollywood. I have friends, I have acting friends. I've had them on the show. And the way I look at it is like it's a Masonic thing as well. Inside Hollywood, you're either part of the secret and you're at the top, or you're talented and they can use you. So they bring you in. And they do these degrees. You've all heard the 33rd degree Mason, but they do these things like they challenge you. So arbitrarily it'd be like, hey, if you want to get to the next level, you gotta do this, this, and this. Are you willing to spit on the American flag? Well, I'll do anything, but I won't do that. Right. And then that Masonic institution is like, you've made the right choice. This is where we are now. Welcome to level 12. And then they just stay there for the rest of their lives. And that's as far as they go. Right. But if you say, yeah, I'll fucking shit on it and piss on it, whatever. I don't give a fuck. And then the same Masonic people will be like, you've made the right choice. Let's get you right to level 13. And you can grow and go up from there. So whatever you're willing to do inside the Masonic spot, they've got a place for you and a position for you. And no matter how they test you, they group you based on the result of your test, which allow multiple levels and layers of all this stuff to carry on. And Masons that you and I know, I mean, the very bottom line Mason, the fish fry, the thing that our grandparents were involved in, that's level 1, 2, 3, right? 33rd degree Mason. These are the people that are quote unquote running the world. Is that fear, doom, and gloom conspiracy coming out of my mouth? No. It's just conversations that's taken place. Does that make them better than us? No. Can you observe it and not do anything about it? Absolutely. We live in a wild spot to be able to perceive these things, see them, and act accordingly. And again, and not paint with a giant overall general brush. Which brings us to number 20. 9/11 was an inside job. This is a whole episode. I've done multiple episodes on 9/11 alone, so it's not like I need to go too today into it. But I look at this and I think to myself, of course it's an inside job. The stories that we've been told, the fact that things have been changing, the fact that so much has come out since then. 20 years ago, I mean, if anyone still thinks a plane hit the Pentagon, how can you think that? There's the people will say, oh, there's a massive loss of lives. There are so many holes that can be punched in the story. And I mean, 9/11, again, I can't do it justice in these short episodes, and I don't think anyone really believes in it that much anymore. Certainly not the official narrative, especially not, when you see like the BBC reporting that Building 5 has come down while it's still standing in the background. And then it free falls, at implosion speed. Like, how does it? Oh, the rubble took it out and it came down in a perfect footprint of itself, which is impossible. I don't know, like 9/11. And then people would say, well, what's the purpose and the point of doing that? Well, again, it's fear, right? It's fear. It's anxiety. It's control. It's the ability to inch by inch take control and things from people. And then, you would say, well, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to take control? Nobody would, right? But we don't live in a utopian world. We live in a world where we're prisoners, where we're angry, where we're agitated, where we're at war with each other all the time, where we're fighting with our neighbors, where the general idea of life itself is disruption and aggression and disarray and shoveled businesses. Nobody knows what's going on. Because if we're busy fighting each other, we're not paying attention. So they can insert hate and bias and everything when it comes to whether you're, racism, for example, do you hate Arabs because of 9/11? It's ridiculous. They run racism and they run division through it all. Men have had everything forever. White men are more powerful. Black men are segregated, and you see these narratives and you see this stuff, and you just watch the division that they're telling us about. So we have to sit there and go, am I this? Am I that? Do I think that? Do I see that? Or can you just say, no, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't seem right. But we've got this idea of who we are based on who they told us we were on the television, who they told us we were. That's who we think we are. And 9/11, Pearl Harbor, Black Tom, all of these attacks on American soil had ulterior motives, had different intentions involved. So, I mean, there's an old saying that, you know, a corrupt ruler will burn down his own empire to rule over the ashes. And I think that we're at the end of an era. I think that we're at the end of an era right now with regards to who controls the information. And I also don't think that we understand what eras really truly are. I think that because we've been lied to about our history all the way through and through, that we sort of believe, we still believe in this. You must go to work. You must pay for this. You must do this. And this is life. That's all life is. Life is nothing at all other than going to work and paying your bills. And that's a total bastardization of what life truly is. Life is all about having the most wonderful experiences you possibly can. And we don't quite fathom how we can do that without money. So money has become quite the point of contention all the way through and through with everything. There are ways to do it. There are ways to understand your position when it comes to wealth and when it comes to how you operate and manipulate money, and what you're willing to give your time to. We get stuck in these ruts. And again, financial slavery, right? We get offered these credit cards where now we're $20,000, $30,000 in debt. And we have to keep doing what we're doing to spin in our wheels in our circles, and spinning our wheels in the mud. But it's not the thing, right? There's a million ways to make some side cash, but we don't do that either, because again, we're still watching the TV. We're still in debt. We're still at a job that we hate. We're still watching terrible news. We're still believing certain things. We're still living in a state of fear and anxiety on a regular basis. All of our tax dollars are being funneled to Ukraine, billions and billions and billions of dollars, and nobody's asking any questions. It goes on and on and on and on and on, right? And then at the end of the day, what do? Oh, fuck, we buy more shoes. We retail therapy ourselves as opposed to investing in ourselves. There's a million people out there that would rather put a BMW in their driveway than invest in the power of earning more money in their brain. They want people to see them a certain way rather than have themselves be a certain way with new information and new knowledge, which to me has always been mind-numbing. But that's a little bit off topic from 9/11. 9/11 to me is an extension of everything else, but it's also one of those things that woke a lot of people up. When you start asking and poking holes in that story, you're like, what the hell? The biggest thing since 9/11, 100% was COVID. These two were so glaringly false that it had to wake a ton of people up. It had to, and this is the whole purpose of it. So it's like, is it really that bad if people are coming around and they're starting to see things? And then of course you're going to hear people say, but 1 billion people died, you know, and I don't know what to say to that other than the fact that numbers don't lie. And there are statistical numbers that you can dig up in a lot of these scenarios that you'll find will back one story or another. And if people want to fight over these things, great. Go ahead and fight. That's your thing. But if you want to see it for what it is, then that means that the division that they tried to create and instill through it becomes the thing that bonds and unifies everyone who won't pay attention to it. So, ladies and gentlemen, on that last statement, I must say this. This is fun. I'm enjoying going through these casts, getting this one out there. This is, so far, it's looking like it's going to be an 8-episode arc here. So we're on episode number 4. It's going up today. Recorded it today. It's been so busy. Work has been going so phenomenal. We've got some amazing new clients come in. If you have any interest in working with us, by all means, reach out. You can hit us at request a guest if you want us to be on your show. We do want to be on your show. Just hit us up, requestaguest.com. And hit us up. Bring us over. Let's see what we can talk about. If you ever wanted to pick my brain on your podcast, go right ahead. TheMentalMasteryAlliance.com. A ton of stuff we're doing there. We're on the TikTok as well. We're on the TikTok, kids. We're working on it. We've got one video. It's terrible. But we're going to start producing a few more things. Going to start getting some teams involved and basically just sort of reach a new audience, a new idea of people that are looking to grow. If you want to work with us one-on-one, you can hit me up directly, Adam at the Mental Mastery Alliance. If you have any interest in coaching, we have group coaching rates. We have one-on-one coaching. We have small business coaching. We have sales coaching. anything that you want. If you align with me, my message, sort of how we speak, hit us up. I mean, there's nothing to lose. The worst thing that can happen is we miss the email and you have to send 2. But I'll tell you, we are always looking for amazing people to work with, always. And there's nothing more exciting than finding somebody who's of like mind, who then accelerates, takes their life and their business to a totally freeing next level. It's a glorious state. Ladies and gentlemen, in the infamous words of Red Green, I'm going to say, keep your stick on the ice.
We really hope you enjoyed this episode of the Mental Mastery Alliance podcast. Stay connected with us directly through the mentalmasteryalliance.com. You can also join the discussion on Instagram at instagram.com/the Mental Mastery Alliance. Let the team know you're listening by using the hashtag TMMA or tagging us at the Mental Mastery Alliance. To have your voice heard on the show, leave a voicemail or send a text to 647-338-1265. Long distance charges may apply. If you love us, leave us a review. If you hate us, you spend your time in weird ways, but also leave a review. Every review on iTunes tickles the algorithm, helping us grow. Until next time, unity over division. This concludes the most surreal portion of your day.
You got it, Pontiac.